Stream is starting. Does it still say off air?
Nope. We're live, brother.
No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. Okay, so we are. We're live. We're live. After all of that little fun mess, we have been. So this is the Storm Before the show, which just kind of means that we're doing a little bit of practice. And like Allen Iverson used to say, what did he used to say? Practice.
I don't have a clue, brother. There you
Practice. Who needs practice?
I'm sorry. You got me on that one.
Practice. Mean practice.
Practice makes perfect. We need a lot of practice.
Practice. Well, part of the thing is the way that we are run this show. We could pay for live streaming through live stream or any number of services. We could do this free through Facebook, but you and I would have to be in the exact same room, and we would have to we'd have to have our cell phone. So anytime you see these live shows on Facebook, what's going on is these guys have their cell phone literally pointed at them, taking a freaking selfie live, and there's either one person there or there's a couple people sitting on a sofa in the same room, and they're having a live show. Well, okay, that's fine. But what we're doing something like in like a TV studio where you could have somebody on different parts of the country at the same time all together. Now we're live on Facebook and we're live on YouTube and it's getting recorded. And we can bring in guests from anywhere around the world live at the same time. And we're doing that on a $300 budget with tens and tens of fans lined up to watch.
I'm sure they're kicking down the door.
Oh my
they will
gosh.
Be.
But
once we get all the ghost of the machine worked out and one of your
so with that said,
we'll be all right.
Exactly what you're saying is we're doing this on now, first of all, because we're going through the Google Plus system, which allows us to do this cool stuff. They changed because they own YouTube, and they completely changed and fudged up their system to make it easier for them, I guess, and harder for us. And it's a whole new learning curve, and it's something that I could do in my sleep blindfolded before, and now Jimmy just had to read directions. Again.
Imagine that. That's the first thing I throw away.
Yeah, that's why it's taken us so long to get on. So in the very near future, we will have a live event. What do they call that? You know, when you see people invite you to an event?
Right, just an
That's
event.
What we're going to do. Yeah, to an event. We're going to invite people to an event, and it's going to be a grand event. And we'll have music, an opening, a closing. We'll have topics lined out. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Right, and we should have it so that, you know, when y'all want to chime in or whatnot, be able to chat, type a little comment, you know, give us your thoughts or something that's eating at you and you want us to cover on a future show. I mean, always open for suggestions.
Yeah, so to Bill's point, to your point right there, what we'll also be able to do is monitor on if someone's watching on YouTube, they can make comments on YouTube. We'll be able to comment there. They can make a comment. Here's the cool part. Your friends and people that follow you can make a comment on your Facebook page, and you'll be able to see it and comment back or talk about it live. And people can do that on my page. And then when we get our website and our dog to dog Facebook page set up, we'll be live streaming on all those sites at the same time, and people can make comments.
Right.
And then the cool thing that you just found out a few minutes ago was that we can actually make comments privately to each other and laugh at people making comments.
That wouldn't be very Christian of us, would it?
Christian? What do you mean, Christian?
Yeah, right.
Practice. Well, and to that note, one of the things that we hope to do, we're going to do, is take a lot of the topics that go on in this crazy world, from sports to politics to entertainment, family, whatever it is, and how do you deal with that and stay positive and in a, for lack of a better way, in a Christian perspective. As men, how do we do that? How do we deal with that? And how do we talk to our kids and our spouses and stay positive?
Exactly.
And that's why I decided to ask a Christian to join the show, because I would like to know. Just kidding.
Not that I have all the answers, brother, but I know who does, and that's all that matters, is who I listen to when it. Hopefully, it's not one of the old voices in my head. It's that new voice that tells me, don't do that.
Right. Because you have a chorus of crosses right behind you.
Right. That's my wife's cross wall. I wake up to that every day, go to bed to it every night, and it just reminds me, of the best gift anybody could ever give you,
So you said something to me the other day that was interesting, and then I've seen it before, I noticed it, but I didn't realize that you were doing this specifically. What do you do on Facebook at your last thing of the day?
I post the verse of the day, the one that, I usually read about 3 or 4 different apps, some give me a verse of the day and breaks it down and into what actions you should take throughout the day to follow that verse. And then the one just before bed, it's just a simple, just one verse that my Bible app gives me. And I like to share that on my Facebook page.
Do you start out in the morning with a Bible verse too? Because I notice you always.
Yeah, usually. I don't really post those on the Facebook, first thing I do. When I get up, before my feet even hit the floor, 9 times out of 10, I'm already saying my morning prayer, thanking the good Lord for just letting me open my eyes and being able to move my feet. Asking him to watch over the day and watch over activities, watch over my family, and just keep blessing us more and more every day.
So Denzel Washington, have you ever seen his speech that he gave to a bunch of drama students?
Was that the one that he preached or didn't preach? He spoke at their graduation, I believe.
Okay, that he did that one, and he said some of the same things, but he was there as a guest for an acting class. And so if you look up Denzel Washington speaks at an acting class or whatever, it's about 6, 7, 8 minutes. I'd encourage you to watch that sometime. And I should probably find it and post it again. But one of the things that he said on that, he said everything was so good. But one of the things that he said was his mother or grandmother or somebody always told him, you take your shoes off and put them under the bed. So in the morning, you have to get on your knees to get them. And when you're down there on your knees, you stop, and that's when you thank God for blah, blah, blah. It was kind of interesting take on that. And he was talking about our possessions and things that we have in life, about giving versus hoarding and versus whatever. And he said, you will never, ever, ever see a hearse, or you will never, ever see, I think he said, a moving van following a hearse. Right. He said, let me repeat that. You will never see a moving van following a hearse, because you cannot take it with you.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of people count their blessings by how many physical possessions they have. And that's not really what it's all about. Yeah, it's nice to have a big screen TV, and because it always makes the football games a little easier to watch. But yeah, you leave this world the same way you came in.
Hmm.
Blessings are as simple as, you know, my kids are healthy. I've got food on my table. I've got a roof over my head. We don't have much, but you know what we have is what we need. The Lord will always provide. It may not be the way you want him to provide, that you see fit, but he will always provide for what you need.
Hmm. I think both of us, without getting into all of it right now, but at some point, I think it'll be important to each uh, tell part of our story. Everybody has a story, but usually as men, we're always not, I don't mean to say like necessarily prideful or on wanting to hide things, like as far as failures or what most people would consider to be failures. And so we want to never, we always kind of want to hide it. And I know that I had owned a very successful retail clothing store for 9 years. And when 9/11 hit, the economy, everyone talked about 2008, the economy really tanked. And
Right.
we were able, it was very, very hard. And we ended up closing our store, moving everything into our garage. And within 2 days, somebody said, "Oh, we know that you had this store, blah, blah, blah. We have an opening on Main Street, and we own this big building. We'd love to have you open up." And boom, all of a sudden within 3 days, we were back open again. And it was awesome. And things started going well. But through that and a lot of other stuff was hard to recover, we ended up filing bankruptcy, not on the business or whatever necessarily, but kind of because of it. And we ended up losing our house. We kept our cars, but I mean, we had to literally start over. And we had just recently before that built from the bottom up the beautiful home. God gave us this home. I mean, you name it. It was like all these things we were trying to hold on to, and we're like praying, like, God, you gave us this. This was the dream. We know that you provided for this, so you're going to find a way out of it. And about a year or two before that, my dad had passed away. And he was a super Christian guy. And I mean, beyond Christian, he was like pretty much a saint. And so long story short, I had decided to stop praying because it doesn't really matter. I mean, God always got his mind made up. Life is made up. You can ask him once, and that's it. Why should you sit there and beg him all the time and ask over and over and over and pray and pray and pray? So I'd given up on it. And one of my brothers gave me this book from Ron Mail called A Prayer That Moves Heaven, I think. Well, this is the spelling right here, Ron Mail. It's right with God, but A Prayer That Moves Heaven. So this book is small, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tossed it aside. I'm like, whatever. I'm not going to read that crap. And so now we're into this thing about losing our home. We're losing everything. It was a shock. And finally, one day, in desperation, I picked up the stupid book and I started reading it. And all of a sudden, and it was about King Jehoshaphat, and it was like one normal, ordinary day. He's reading the paper and drinking his coffee, and all of a sudden, somebody came into him and goes, "King, we got a problem. We've got massive, massive armies coming against us." It was like, oh boy, what do I do? So out of nowhere, an ordinary day, their whole world was going to be turned upside down. Now what do you do? And so this book I'll talk to anyways I'm not going to get into it. People can read the Bible story on what happened. But I mean, long story short, they went out and blew their horns, blah, blah, blah. And they go and see that the armies had killed each other. And they didn't even have to lift a finger to win. But I realized that you're not supposed to pray to God to hold on to things and to beg for stuff. That wasn't what it was all about. It was just having a conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
Basically just freaking having a conversation with God and saying, you know what, if the doors are closing here, please then just show me where the open door is.
And that's one way to look at it too. When one door closes, don't stick your foot in that door and try to keep it from closing, because he's got something better, coming right around the corner. And eventually, it's just like things. If you look back on your life at the doors that have closed, look at the ones that have actually opened, and sometimes it takes a while. We're all going through the storm, and sometimes, some storms are bigger than the others.
So let me see. 1 second. Tim Tebow's got a book out right now that's called Shaken. And I read his book Through My Eyes, which is really great. And I got the book Shaken, which just came out about 2 weeks ago. And I've only been able to, because I've got it next to my bed, which is probably not the best place for it, I've only been able to get through like the first 10 pages. Because I'll go to bed, put on my headphones, bring my phone, listen to music, and open the book. And all of a sudden, before long, I'm just calm. I can't even pay attention to it. But what I have read was pretty good stuff. And it's Shaken. And it's about the storms that will come. If they haven't yet, they will. And you will be shaken. So it's not about, well, I can't even quote it because I didn't stay awake long enough to remember it. But I will.
There's times I'll do that too, man. I'll fall asleep in the middle of my prayer, and I catch myself when I wake up later in the middle of the night, about an hour later. I'm like, I am so sorry, Lord. I fell asleep. But you know what? If you fall asleep talking to the Lord, what better way?
Right.
And a lot of times, a lot of nights when you're laying there, you've got something on your mind, and you're just talking with him, and you could lay there and just stress out and just trying to figure out what am I going to do, what I'm going to do. But it's amazing how the nights I feel like I'm most stressed out about stuff, what am I going to do, is the nights I'll fall asleep talking to the Lord, and that's, to me, the way I kind of look at it, that's just his way of, just giving you that bit of peace and being like, sit back, I got this. But
yeah.
Anyway, back to what you were saying.
Well, just about, being shaken. I was just looking to see if there was any comments on the page yet, but because if anybody does want to leave comments on my Facebook page or on Bill's, so I was just checking to see if anything was on there. But we didn't really pimp the show out, and we'll do that once we got all this down. And a funny thing is, once I read the instructions on how to start this show, or instructions, another way to call it,
instructions,
it was pretty easy. I'm like, wow, that was easier than I thought. So maybe Google Plus and YouTube did make it easier. I just need to stop for 2 seconds and get my act together.
Right.
Did you see all the pins I posted?
The pins, as in
so I traded in my car last week. I had this. My car it was 2010. Bought it brand new. It had 128,000 miles on it, and I still owed $7,500. This piece of crap by now, because I drive a lot. I'm like, I owe $7,500 on this. I'm in so upside down, because I was upside down when I bought it, and I had to finance in and all that crap. So anyways, I got a brand new Jeep Renegade something or other. It's loaded with everything. It's called the Batman versus Superman model, because it's a limited model. It was actually in that movie. And friends of ours own a dealership. So they took my trade in, got me this brand new Jeep, this whole thing loaded. I mean loaded. It's got 2 sunroofs, it's heated seats, heated steering wheel, nice stereo, all of that. The exact same payment as what I was paying on my piece of crap car, and no money down.
Here you go, man.
So long story short, I had to clean out my other car, and I opened the door, so I saw some pens on the floor. I started picking them up, and then under the seat, and then all around, and I had to clean them out. Before long, I had like 80 or 90 pens. It's a
Yes,
filling.
that's you could be a big salesman.
Yeah. So I have to get my act together
Right.
in,
Yeah,
in
that's a
life.
good way.
Yeah, I mean, just in life, because like with this show, this is really important to me that we kick this thing off good. It's really important that I get Raquel's website set up and the coffee sales going again. And dude, I just like I'm a slacker.
Yeah, life happens, you know. You'll get to it. I'll start sending you text messages, be like, "You get this done, you get this done," and you'd be like, "I'm gonna block this guy." You know, I'd
I
help you
get
with a lot of the technical stuff if I could, brother, but I don't have a clue how that stuff works. I'm lucky to be on here right now.
no, you. I mean, the technical stuff is easy. I can get that stuff. It's just a matter of sitting down for 5 minutes and actually reading. And you know what the big problem is? Is freaking Facebook because we get addicted to it.
Hmm.
Aren't you checking it all the time sometimes without thinking about it?
Yeah, and you catch yourself doing it constantly too. It's kind of sad,
Yeah.
you know. But honestly, I mean, that's how you keep track of what's going on in the world. I mean, to me, Facebook is better to go to than actually turning on the TV and looking at the news, because we all know how the mainstream media is. You know, you just you can't believe a word out of their mouths, and it's sad. I mean, it really is how much, you know, people are starting to wake up now, but mainstream media can be like the sky's on fire. You could be standing outside and you'd be surprised how many people will look up and be like, "Oh, it is on fire," and it's really not. You know, they believe everything they feed them, and it's just disgusting. I mean, you know, I pray every day too that people just start waking up to.
Yeah. Well, you know, even they talk about Fox News being like just totally hardcore to the right and everything. Well, so I've got this XM Sirius radio now with the
Mhm.
came with the car for a while. So I'll be listening to Fox News during the day. And Shepard Smith comes on. And I swear to every word out of that guy's mouth, he's making fun of Trump in his own
Mhm.
subtle way, saying, "Oh, well, you know, Trump said this, and well, look at that. Now he's not doing that. And boy, he said this." And today was like on and on. You know, Trump said he was going to build a wall, and now he's talking about a fence and a couple of really bright, shiny doors. And you know what that means? And I'm like, dude, just shut up. I'm sick and tired of you.
It's just amazing how they're going to try to pick him apart before he even gets in. And you know what? If you read some of the news, you know, some of the actual, you know, things that he's doing already. I mean, it's progress, and it may not be much progress, but you know what? It's progress from uh, you know, anybody who's going to be watching this show is probably going to get a pretty good idea that I know I haven't. I'm 100% sure you haven't liked the last 8 years in our country, and actually a few years
Right.
before that. You know, it's been slowly just going downhill in the past 8 years, man. It feels like we've jumped off a cliff. You know, not just policy wise. I mean, that's a whole different show. We could get into something, you know, long over that, but you know, just economically wise, you know, you had people keep wanting to go out overseas, you know, because it's so much cheaper, you know, and he's doing what he said he's going to do. If you decide to take your company overseas, I'm going to make it darn near impossible for you to bring your stuff back. And it's amazing how he's working out the deals already. The people
And
took
he's
him
not even
serious,
president.
right? that's that's good stuff. I mean, you know, people
This
can complain
a-hole
and moan.
Shepard, well, the
Yeah, go
Shepard
ahead.
Smith today, and he had somebody on, and they were talking about all of the policies that Trump hasn't even, that he talked about that he hasn't even done yet. And I'm like, freaking idiot. He's not president yet.
Right, right, and why give away all his secrets too? I mean, he's putting together a cabinet that there's a couple I was kind of iffy about, but there's some people he's put in the cabinet that's one thing Donald Trump is. People call him all sorts of names and whatnot, but one thing he is a brilliant businessman. You don't get to be a billionaire. And, when you think of rich people, I mean, from all the way back in the 80s, obviously you got Bill Gates and whatnot, but when you think back in the 80s, Donald Trump was right there. He's smart. I mean, and that's the way, honestly, in my opinion, our government should be run, is like a business.
Did you see him in Ohio tonight?
No, I didn't get a chance to.
When they show a replay or a repeat of it or something, you've got to watch. It was pretty inspiring. And one of the things he was saying was, he goes, I said I was going to do this. I said I was going to do that. And then you're watching the news, and all of a sudden they're upset that Donald Trump has a billionaire that he put in charge of the economy or whatever, the Fed or something. He's like, right. Of course, the guy is a shark. He knows how to make money. He's a killer, and he can make money. He goes, I would love to put in a 6-time loser in charge of our economy, but it wouldn't work. I mean, it's like, right. Yeah. So he's like, I'm doing what I said I was going to do. I'm going to put a killer, and I'm going to get all these people in our cabinet that actually have real experience doing stuff.
Right.
Being successful.
That's one thing about him. You don't get, and not just Trump, you don't get to where you're going to be when you're that successful in life by surrounding yourself with fools.
Right.
And he's darn near coined the famous saying, I guarantee if someone doesn't do their job, you're fired.
Right. And tonight's speech was 90% of it was revolved around think great things, dream great things. Let's be great again,
Right. I mean, just bring back, America has truly changed. I love my country to death. I'm full of American pride. I just want to see it brought back to what we were. When you woke up hopeful, you went and you worked hard, and you had something to show for it. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on, but we only have so much time tonight.
And you got dinner getting cold, I heard.
Oh, it's all right, man. That's what I got invented, a microwave.
The true TV dinner.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm telling you, man, this week it's like tonight here. We're supposed to be on air 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. What do you call yourself? Central?
Central. Yep.
Central time. Okay. So for people that don't know, Bill is in Missouri. I don't even know where you're at. Okay, whatever, Missouri.
Just say Kansas City.
Kansas City. Here I come.
Go. There you go.
Isn't there a song? Kansas City.
There's a few songs. Yeah, there's Kansas City, Here I Come. There's 18th and Vine. There's, I don't even know how many songs. But yeah, I mean.
Dude, I am so bad when it comes to geography.
Yeah, that happens to the best of us.
Oh my God. Yeah, when you don't pay attention at school.
Yeah, there's lots of things that I didn't pay attention to, but it's amazing the things that I remembered that I was like, hold on, I was sleeping that day in class. How did I remember that?
Do you know that, I started out at a school called Benson Polytechnic High School. And it was a cool school so that your freshman and sophomore year, you took half of your day. So you did your first half of your day with all your basic classes. Then the second half of the day, for the first quarter, you could pick your poison, electronics or automotive or wood shop or what's the one where you turn a lathe with metal, make hammers and stuff. Machine shop.
Yeah.
Machine shop or sheet metal class, all that, right? So my first year, I was able to take like 4 or 5 different, for the whole second half of the day, I got to actually do that. And then the theory was that your junior and senior year, half of your day would just be for 2 years, that one thing, electrician or whatever, and it would help you move forward in life to an actual polytechnic high school. Well,
Right.
I probably have ADHD, didn't pay attention so well and stuff like that. So I literally was getting D's. I played soccer as varsity my freshman year. I could do well. But I was literally flunking out my freshman year. I was on the radio. I dug that. I did my own radio show at KBPS up there, was one of the things that I got into. But then by my sophomore year, I was flunking out so bad, like I got an F in photography, because we would fold up the paper into little diagonal triangle footballs.
Right.
And you would slide them across the table, and who could, just get it over the edge, you get a point. I was great at doing that in class. So long story short, I had to transfer over to Grant High School. And I was like, wait, that's where all my friends were going anyways. That's where I probably should have started. So now, in order to recover, I was doing so bad that my junior year, I ran for student body president. For my senior year, I'd be student body president if I won. And my moniker was, I'm just an average student like most of yourselves. I know what you want, and I know how to get it.
There you go.
I won.
Yeah.
So my senior year, my theory is that if I'm busy being student body president doing good things, my teachers might cut me a break and let me slide a little bit. And thank God I graduated with like a 2.5 or 2.0. I just barely graduated, dude. Just barely.
Don't feel like you're the only one. It happens to the best of us. I mean, I think me and my buddies they gave you the number of what you were in the class, and there was like 1,000 kids in my graduating class. I mean, we had a good size graduating class.
Yes,
but me and my friends, we could pretty much hold our numbers side by side, and it was all like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we were down there towards the bottom. We barely scraped by. I mean, had a good time, a lot of good memories, but high school was fun. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just, I could be as dumb as a box of rocks. I'm not kidding. That's me. I'm as dumb as a box of rocks. And if I want to be, I'm pretty damn smart. It just depends on whether I want to apply myself or not.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, we all have a purpose, and once you find your purpose, that to me is kind of one of the keys of life. Find your purpose and do what you do and do what you love and do it well. So I think that right there is a freaking great close. That's a great close for a little live practice that we've been doing just to get some stuff down. We are going to launch a live event. I'm going to guess we're going to do 2 or 3 more practice shows, make sure that we really get everything dialed in for good, and probably push out a live event show maybe December 10th to the 15th. Is that what sounds good to you? Yeah, I mean, whenever you're ready. I mean, I know
you wanted to do it last week. I know.
I'm ready. I mean, hey, the world don't stop waiting for us. That news keeps coming out, and there's things that needed to be discussed that a lot of people take the wrong way, and they don't know how to deal with it. And that's kind of one of the reasons why we're doing this show too, is to kind of talk it out and throw a couple different ideas out there on how to deal with all the lack of a better word, nasty, sick, just crap that's going on out there. How do you handle it from a Christian standpoint? So how do you keep from losing it?
Before we go, you sent me something that I wasn't able to really read because I was right in the middle of being frustrated with my one computer over there and trying to get us on the air. And you sent me something about CVS. What was that all about?
Well, apparently CVS Pharmacy is no longer taking the insurance, like Trivec or something like that, Trivet. But and that in itself is pretty pathetic. But there's insurance is
Is
so
that your
screwed that
guys'
way.
insurance?
No. It's just I read it on there, and what bothered me the most wasn't that they've stopped doing that, because I am big time. I love the vets. Those people actually, they would literally take a bullet. Some of them already have, and some of them didn't come back to speak about it. I mean, they deserve the utmost respect out of everything, out of anybody who has benefits in the country. In my opinion, we need to take care of our vets. But what it was a response from someone claiming to be a CVS manager. It was just, it was sickening what they said. Give me just 2 seconds. I mean, I got it. It's just, I'm a CVS manager. Stop acting like military and veterans deserve special treatment. They should really all be in prison. That just,
Ooh.
oh yeah. Well, apparently, I've talked to a couple of my sources
Is
and
that
whatnot.
verified? I mean, that's for sure.
Well, I've talked to a couple of sources who have a little bit more, can do a little bit better research than I can. And they're like, apparently CVS is investigating it, and they're claiming that this person is not a true manager or whatnot. They're just trying to get riled up or whatnot. But I don't know. It comes down to it. That was just wrong. I don't care if you're the manager or not. That's just wrong. And we need to get.
It was literally said. The person didn't make it up. I mean, this is for real.
Yeah, they posted it. I mean, I've seen it all over Facebook. I'm sure, a lot of the viewers have too. It's just, and things happen. I understand, they cut benefits here and there. A lot of doctors won't take this insurance and whatnot. We need to get that straightened out. And I pray for that every day, that the new president-elect will put somebody in office to help get this crap straightened out, because a lot of people do need insurance. But especially our vets. We've got to take care of our vets. And that, I think that just irked me the most, saying that about people, they belong in prison and whatnot. It just disgusts me.
But that's my question. I mean, is it okay? I understand that CVS isn't taking that insurance anymore. But my question is that a lot of times you see things like, let's say after Trump got elected, you see all of a sudden all kind of, graffiti written all over the walls and swastikas and stuff. And I kind of wonder, I'm like, seriously? Was that like some idiot liberal who did that in order to make the Trump people look bad? Because there's a lot of people that they find out after being investigated, they go, oh yeah, well, that person who claimed discrimination turns out that they admitted they were lying. Well, so I know that CBS isn't doing the insurance, but did that person actually really say, I think?
Right. Well, that person said it. Now, whether or not they're actually truly a CVS manager or not, we'll have to find out when that comes out. Like I say, I've got a couple people looking into it because I've brought it to their attention. And like I say, they're better at getting info and whatnot than I am.
Because that's bad. I mean, that's
like, you're going to get more than boycotted if that comes out, and if that was one of your managers.
Yeah. Well, and the last thing, so before we go, I told you, I said, I don't want to forget to bring this up just because it just pissed me off today. It ticked me off every freaking single time I hear this. I get mad because they're talking about Trump and Mike Pence and there's jobs that they saved for Carrier. My brother brought it up to me today. He goes, oh, well, Obama saved 1.8 million automotive jobs. So Trump's only saved 1,000 and it costs $7 million per job. And I'm like, so wait, so they're trying to spin this saying keeping the 1,000 jobs in Indianapolis for Carrier costs Indianapolis $7 million or something like that. It was like $700,000 or $700,000 per job in tax breaks and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait a minute. Would somebody in the media who they've got a guest on and somebody's saying that, would you just stop them for one freaking minute and say, wait a minute, if Carrier closed and went to Mexico, there would be no jobs, no income, no tax revenue. And you don't think that's a cost? the frick are you talking about it costs? So what they did was they gave carrier an incentive by cutting taxes and giving them tax breaks. Well, a tax break, it's 100% tax break if they're gone. I don't get this. It costs us $7 million. It costs you nothing.
Well, you said the big thing too, you know, taxes and whatnot. I got a lot of friends that use the famous statement, you know, taxation is theft. You know, no matter what, it's
well,
you know,
double taxation is definitely theft.
That's for a different show. We could talk taxes on a different show.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna get off because we want to. So, anyways, if anybody's stuck around, and I know that there is, because I see viewers on a number of viewers on my screen, and then I also see them in a whole different way after the show. How many was watching versus YouTube versus, because we're on like your page, my page, YouTube page, and not Google Plus page anymore. But anyways, so we're gonna wrap it up, and I'm gonna throw you on the spot for something. I hope you don't mind.
This, and we decided no, like we were talking, you know, we'd like to end each show, you know, with just kind of like a verse that stands out real good. You know, today let's stick with the Proverbs 27:17. It's kind of the reason why we do our show. Iron sharpens iron, you know, so one person and one friend sharpens another. You know, that's kind of why we're having this show. You know, the dog to dog it's two guys talking, you know, and we're sharpening each other, we're feeding each other, we're building each other up. You know, we're bringing each other up from out of dealing with everyday life, you know, and we hope and pray, you know, that everybody gets something out of the show. You know, we definitely want some more participation from you all, because, you know, build your neighbor up, build your friends up. Iron sharpens iron.
And we will be having local regular Facebook viewers and friends on as guests during this time. We'll have other guests who are somewhat nationally known, but we also want to bring on a lot of voices that people are just typing away and wishing that they could have some sort of a voice. And we'll bring those people on, because this is grassroots. And what you just said about iron sharpens iron, that's all of us together holding each other accountable.
Absolutely, brother. We pick each other up, you know.
What's the verse again? Is Proverbs what?
Give me 2 seconds. Sorry. Proverbs 27:17.
27:17.
Yes, sir.
Right on. All right, sir. Bill, thank you, my brother.
All right. Until next time.
Yes. Now, when I hit, just since we're practice, and we're doing this live, when I hit stop broadcast, you stay with me.
Sounds good. Y'all have a good one out there.
Everybody else, goodbye.